Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Hey, I got my double hat back. Today is not going to be a crazy video. It's not going to have a lot of crazy edits. I'm not reviewing anything. But you know that means it's just going to be a normal talk between me and you guys. And you know what that means? I'm going to be talking for another 20 minutes to an hour.
Oh my god. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck? Brother, this guy stinks!
But ignoring myself, me being me, I know that's the worst thing you could do in the world. I did want to make this video to just have a brief discussion with you guys. And this is about the TV show Andor, the new Star Wars show coming on Disney Plus in September. It was supposed to come out at the end of this month, and I was going to talk about this show after it came out. But seeing as it got postponed to next month, I figured why not talk about it now that the new trailer is out. I might as well also give my slight opinions on that. But basically, I just want to talk about my beef with Andor. Because for those of you guys who didn't know, for the past few Star Wars videos, I've been talking about like Star Wars projects, and I've been talking about Andor in those projects. And every time I mention Andor, I always mention it like I don't like it or I hate it or I can't believe we're talking about this again. And so I figured I'd probably finally give my reason as to why I'm not excited for Andor here, so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I'll still watch it. It's not like one of my top 7 shows I'll never watch, but like at the very least, you guys will understand why I sort of don't like Andor and what my beef with it is, and why it's not I hate it as a show, because obviously the show hasn't come out, but why I hate kind of where it came from. I've kind of blabbed on too much, so let's begin. So my first beef with this show is kind of something not to do with it at all, and that's kind of that Disney doesn't know how to deal with legacy characters. What I mean by this is that any Star Wars characters that existed before Disney bought Star Wars, they kind of don't know how to deal with them, and it shows. The sequel trilogies, we all know that they botched every single character, except the notable few like Leia. I didn't have a problem with how they dealt with Leia, but like Lando, Luke, Han, I don't know. It just kind of felt a lot of the things they did felt very forced, and obviously, like with the Force Awakens, they reverted everyone to like the original position just so we could get that nostalgia fuel. I'm not gonna crap on the Force Awakens; it was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw, so obviously I have a lot of like love for it. But I am saying, like, for the long time fans, I do feel the insults they felt when it comes to like these sequel movies, and when it comes to the shows, they also really don't do them that much favor either. With the Book of Boba Fett, for example, this is where you get to see all the flaws showing. They kind of didn't do Boba Fett well. Yeah, they made him a bit more honorable and a bit more quote unquote heroic, but they made him more like the show made him more like the honorable villain, I would say. Like, yeah, he's a good guy. He has his morals. He has a code that he follows by, but he still does kind of crazy things. You can't make him the leader of Jabba's empire and then not have him do those crazy things. That's kind of what everyone expects from Boba Fett. Luke Skywalker in that show was just kind of done dirty in that he acts a lot like the old Jedi Order. The whole point of Luke was that he was supposed to represent the new Jedi Order, embracing the new principles, basically, of what the Jedi should be like. But instead, he kind of goes back to what the Jedi were doing, but like, you can't have attachments. You either learn the Force or you do this. And they completely botched his character in that. I still liked him in The Mandalorian, and I still liked how Disney showed how powerful he could be, especially in The Mandalorian. It's just Book of Boba Fett Luke I didn't like. I didn't like that he got to meet Ahsoka, though. That's something I will still cherish. And the Obi-Wan show, everyone has their own opinions on that. I know a lot of people really didn't like the Obi-Wan show. I did, personally. It really just showed me that Star Wars still has a hope of surviving. But I do understand where people are coming from. And so that's my biggest problem. Disney doesn't know how to deal with legacy characters. When it comes to the sequel characters, they seem to do a lot better with them. When I mean sequel characters, I mean original characters that they made. They seem to do a lot better with them, and these are the characters they seem to push more. For example, we have the sequel trilogy characters. Characters they don't really utilize a lot, aside from like the Lego specials that they make. But we have The Mandalorian, a show that was so well and wasn't an original character from like the other Star Wars movies. Guess what? Disney's pushing that content like it's no one's business. Ahsoka, while technically not made by Disney, is someone who is still very much cherished, and Disney's like take care of her and whatever shows she appears in. But you can see that Disney really does care more for its original characters than they do their legacy characters, which is kind of concerning because now we have Andor. And what I want to say about Andor is that it clearly has more money into it. Like, we have Obi-Wan, and my problem with Obi-Wan is that everyone kind of knew when it came to the Obi-Wan show, this was going to be the ride or die show. Like, this show was either going to be the best thing Disney has ever made, And if it's not, we cannot respect it, or it cannot be the best thing Disney's ever made. And sadly, this show is not the best Star Wars show ever. It's not the best Star Wars thing ever, which is why a lot of people led to hating it. And they're justified, because we were all supposed to think this was the best thing ever. And Disney didn't put that much money into it. And in some episodes, it shows. But if you look at the trailer for Andor, you can tell they put so much money more into it. And this kind of feels like a slap to me, like a slap to my face personally, because you don't put money in for Obi-Wan, a legacy character, the biggest show ever everyone was waiting for, but you put in more money for Andor, an original character, someone who we already saw die. Like, we already know how Andor dies, so what's the point of making us care for this character this much and putting this much money into a show, making it look good, instead of Obi-Wan, a character we also know dies, but has way more interesting stories to tell? It's very confusing. And again, look at the trailer. Just look at this, and you will see how much better it looks in comparison to Obi-Wan.
To steal from the Empire. Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? Then you will die. Look at his lips!
And I think that's my biggest problem with Disney right now. They seem to care more about extending the Star Wars brand rather than making a good Star Wars show, especially about the characters we love. Because, like, again, they're making shows about Andor, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, but if you notice, the characters who are original, they seem to make better shows. Like, again, like Andor. But the characters we love, like Obi-Wan, we were promised an epic show, and instead we got a kind of good show. And again, just compare the look of the legacy shows and the original shows. A legacy book of Boba Fett was received so poorly. No one liked that show. But like The Mandalorian, everyone loved that show to death. And it really is concerning. And even, like, when I mean, like, extending the Star Wars brand, I really do mean Disney just cares about extending the Star Wars brand. Because from what I've heard, Andor was already slated to have 3 seasons. The first season having 12 episodes. Obi-Wan only has 1 season with 6 episodes. Andor is going to have 3 seasons. And I'm assuming they're probably all going to have 12. 36. That is 6 times more than Obi-Wan. For a character we don't even, like, care about that much, considering the movie he showed up in, he died pretty quickly, and he was only in 1 movie, and like again, almost in every Star Wars movie. And what weirds me about Andor is that this is a show that nobody asked for. I remember back when this show got announced, like in 2018, everyone was like, but why though? He was kind of an okay character in his movie. And by the way, I'm not throwing shade on the actor. Apparently, the actor really loves playing Andor and he loves being in Star Wars universe. I love that for him. I love it when an actor really loves their job. I'm not throwing shade on him. I'm throwing shade on the character he's playing. But like, he was an okay character in his movie, and he died in that movie. Why would we want to see a whole series focused on him and K2SO going on adventures? It really doesn't make sense, if you ask me. I just cannot, for the life of me, wonder why Disney is so dead set on making and advertising this show and showing this character off to be like the new face of Star Wars. Who is your favorite Disney? Is he, like, who came up with this show and said, this is my favorite character? Bob Iger? Bob Chappelle? Kathleen Kennedy? Is he your favorite character? Is he the guy you're so desperate to make a show about that you keep telling Star Wars fans, oh yes, best show ever, and let's pour all the money into this. Let's take the budget of Obi-Wan and put it into this show. I don't understand. Like, it's as if the heads of like Lucasfilm and Disney, they just cannot survive without this character and this show in their lives, and it bothers me so much. Because again, legacy characters like Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Luke, they're like, we don't care about that. But Andor, now that's the real deal. That's the real deal, baby. What? And It's very much confusing. A side note I would want to make about the Disney shows that's kind of also been bothering me is how Disney keeps postponing the Star Wars shows they're making. And this is like another way of saying Disney really doesn't know how to handle the Star Wars brand. They want to extend it, but it's kind of like they don't know how to handle it, which is kind of the same with Marvel, but Marvel's like a whole completely different story. But with Star Wars, they keep postponing the shows. And I don't know if you noticed this. Obi-Wan, they had to postpone like the first episode by like 3 days, which was like, okay, no problem, whatever. Then Andor, they postponed it by a whole month. And then the Bad Batch, I don't know if they're gonna postpone that, but from the looks of it, it might, because the Bad Batch is supposed to come out end of September as well. Meaning, if Andor and the Bad Batch come out, they'll be airing at the same time, which is kind of weird. And we have like Tales of the Jedi and like so many other things Disney's postponing. And I feel like this is also a problem with them spreading themselves too thin, especially like with the production people and the VFX people. They are really suffering from this, which again also ties into Marvel because apparently the VFX people like who work for Marvel, they're also having a hard time. It's like torture for them. And so I'm like, they either need to slow down on the shows and stop postponing them, just dedicate as many people as you can to one show, or hire more people. You're Disney, you're a multi-billion-dollar company. I know you got the money and the muscle to hire more people. I don't know what the problem is. But all in all, guys, those are kind of the reasons why I am not a fan of Andor, or why I am not happy with the way it was conceived, its concept. It does not make sense. It feels very petty on some level, which kind of forces me to be petty about it, considering that Disney seems to have a favorite child situation here, where they're like, Andor, we love you, we're gonna show you more Obi-Wan, other legacy characters. It's kind of like a step-parent situation, I'd say. Well, like Andor, he's like the actual child of Disney, so they're like, we're gonna love you, we're gonna take care of you, we're gonna make stuff. But then we have Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, who are made by George Lucas, so they're technically the stepchildren. We're like, we don't care about you, we'll give you whatever you need to survive, but that's about it. I feel like that's the best way to analogize this or analyze this or whatever. It feels very weird how Disney just does not seem to care for the legacy characters, which is sad because the fans care about the legacy characters. We've been here for the legacy characters, and it's like, yeah, we have some original characters we care about, like again, the Mandalorian, but like, always put the fans first when you're making a project. Obviously, when I mean that, I don't mean like nonsense fan service, but at least care about making a good project for them. Instead of making 10 billion Star Wars projects, make at least 5 that the fans will really love and cherish about. And again, I have nothing against Rogue One. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie, and it's by far not my favorite Disney Star Wars movie, even though everyone seems to love it for some reason. They're like, oh my gosh, best Disney Star Wars movie. I'm more of a Solo kind of guy. I love Solo. That's a good Star Wars film to me. Like, that's just pure fun. It's like my 4th favorite Star Wars movie. So, I understand people who loved Rogue One will probably enjoy this series, but I probably not so much. So, yeah, all in all, while I won't sleep on Andor, because it's still Star Wars, I don't see myself fully enjoying it or thinking it will be my new favorite Star Wars show. And so help me, if this show is actually good, I will be very upset. Like, if this show actually comes out and surprises me, I will be so upset. And let me tell you, that is a new thing. That is new territory for me. I never would have thought the day would come where I want to see a show or project fail so badly. Yet here we are. I can't believe this is the universe I was born into. But anyways, if this show is good, I very much worry about the future legacy shows Disney's gonna make. Namely, Ahsoka. I've already expressed how excited I am for that show. And if this show is good, I very much worry for Ahsoka because that means Disney will probably not care for it at all. They'll probably put more care into The Mandalorian Season 3 than Ahsoka. And, I mean, I love both shows. Don't get me wrong. I love both The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. But I really don't want to see, I don't want to be in a situation where I see one fail and another one thrive, especially if the other one is thriving on the failed one's carcass. That's just, I don't want that. I don't want that, I don't enjoy it, and I don't plan to enjoy it. But anyways, guys, those have been my thoughts on Andor, my beef with it, why I'm not particularly excited for the show, nor am I excited with how the show seems to come from, the background of the show and whatever. If you enjoy it by all means. Please do enjoy it. I'm not here to tell you how to feel. I'm just some dumb internet basement dweller sitting in his mom's basement talking about Star Wars. So, really, can you take me seriously? I'm a goddamn nerd. Can you really take me seriously? Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. More videos coming soon. Can't wait to post them. And with that, I will see you in another universe.